So, good evening, everyone. Welcome to our webinar, the session on how to crack MPhil entrances in the premier institutes of India. So, we are from IFA Diksha Classrooms. We are an online platform that trains students in, net coaching for various subjects, including psychology. We also provide MPhil coaching or MPhil training, GATE coaching, and several other programs. Today, we have with us Ms. Deepthi, who is a MPhil scholar from NIMHANS. She's also an ICMR JRF holder who has also completed her PhD from NIMHANS. So, as we know, at this point of time, when we have all the MPhil entrances at the very near, a lot of them had a lot of concerns regarding how the preparation has to be, what kind of topics do we have to cover up, what kinds of questions can we expect. So we have with us Deepthi to answer your questions and to help you give an idea about how to face the exams and everything. So over to you, Deepthi. I welcome Deepthi on behalf. Deepthi.
Thank you, Pinita. I didn't expect this much audience, but then, yeah. Okay. Myself, Deepthi, I'm a clinical psychologist currently practicing in Calicut, Kerala. So when Vinita told me about this program, I was very happy to share my experience, NIMHANS experience, MPhil experience. But then later on, when I saw the poster, it is saying like how to crack NIMHANS entrance or institute entrances or strategies, tips. I was quite confused, like, am I the right one to do this? But then anyways, I agreed for this. So I thought like, okay. Okay, so I will start with my journey. Okay, it might be a little bit boring for you, but then, yeah. Okay, so I, just like most of you, I started psychology because I was passionate in helping people from school age, maybe. So after 12th standard, I decided to join for a psychology course. For BA psychology, I have joined for MG University. In that, it was a very good college. I just passed. After that, I thought about doing MSc. I joined for Kannur University, which was again a good college, but then very new into the field. We were like second batch. I don't know if any of you are from that college, but then, yeah. So after that, I was almost sure about my career. I was thinking like, okay, I have this job which I'm applying for a government job, which everyone wants. So I almost got in 1 week before this entrance exam. So I was almost prepared for that, and also everyone is telling about UGC. I have attempted it once, so okay, I thought okay, UGC or a government job, whatever is coming through, I will take it up that. So I was not at all prepared for the enhanced entrance actually. So that's why I'm saying I'm not sure I'm the right person to give you strategies. So somehow I went for the exam because all my friends are going. Okay, I decided to go. I wrote the exam. It was really simple, very easy exam. I got in. I didn't know what to do, but then I just go for the MPhil entrance. I mean MPhil course. After joining MPhil only, I realized how the course works. Maybe you people already know how the classes are, how the works are, all those things. But then after joining only, I come to know about how it works. Okay. So if I talk about the MPhil experience, there is what I learned most is endurance, how to survive in a institute like that. Okay, or how to survive in a hospital like that. Also, it was more about teamwork, how to collaboratively work with other team members. So, to give you a brief, I can say there are two teams which we are part of. One will be from the department, which is the clinical psychology team, where we learn from our discussion, case discussions, lectures, journal clubs, academic presentations. And also we have another team, which is the bigger team, where everyone is part of. Like psychiatrists will be there, psychology, other students will be there, supervisors will be there, social workers will be there, nursing team will be there. So every one of the consultants and the students from that, uh, uh, each one of the department. So there also we will have case discussion. That we'll have to do a detailed workup. We will have to do mental status examination of each patient. We'll have to see patients regularly. We'll have to go to OPD, sit there, do the work, follow-ups, everything. Uh, then so there's two kind of units, two kind of teams which we have. So it was really hard. It was really tough period because there was more. Sometimes we think that it is more important to do the clinical work. We have to concentrate on our patient. We can't just leave the patients. But then we don't have time for studies. We don't have any time for academics. So kind of juggle again between academics, clinical work, both of that, and somehow managed after the uh, innumerous number of exams and practicals and all, somehow managed to pass the MPhil entrance. I mean, MPhil exam. After that, the real part of studies has come. So just after the MPhil, there was an entrance, which is kind of like PhD entrance was there, which I attempted without without much plan, without much preparation. I was just out of the MPhil, and I thought, okay, let me try this. Okay, so I went for the exam. In that rank list also, I got it. But then I didn't prepare for the interview, thinking that anyway I'm not going to get in. They usually call people from the top of the list, and they just do that. I mean, it's more like a document verification. They are not going to call me to the interview room. That was my idea. But then that year onwards, it has started like 50% for the interview. So they called me. I have no idea about what to say. They asked about the synopsis. I just made up something there. So I couldn't get in there. But then I was okay because I was not ready to join for another course. Anyways, after all this hard work, again, one more going back to NIMHANS, it was very difficult. So I decided, okay, let's see what job I can do. But then the problem is, by that time, it was very difficult for me to work without a team or work without supervision because everything I was learned from is about how to work in a team or supervision, under supervision, how to case discuss, and all those things. So then I started thinking like, okay, now what to do? So then I decided to again join for the PhD. So during this time, I joined another institute, which is nearby, St. John's, which was a very kind of very simple job, kind of a senior research fellow, where I have to supervise two other junior research fellows, which was a very easy job, which I will finish by afternoon. I will go back to NIMHANS. I will sit in the library and start reading. Mostly because all my friends will be working at that time. All are in NIMHANS and all have work, so they will be working. So I have to wait for them. So I sit and start reading. Maybe that reading helped me later on. Okay, so whenever I read, I didn't take any notes. That's what my strategy may be. I try to make it a point not to make any notes. If I make the notes, it's going to be there, and I'm not going to study it again. So I just leave it like that. I will go back to the books if I want to. If I forget something, if I'm not able to get something, I'll go back to book and check again. So with that preparation, maybe I have passed after that UGC and then ICMR, and I joined for the PhD. So I completed PhD in 5 years. I finished in 2018. After that, by 2019, I came to Calicut and joined and started working as clinical psychologist. For last 2 years, I'm here. Okay, so this was about me. So now I will go to some of your questions. Okay. Uh, so most of you asked about syllabus, books, materials. Okay. Uh, Syllabus, there is no syllabus for any of these entrance. Syllabus is just your basics. Whatever you have learned from BA, MA courses, that is the syllabus you have. Or if you want to follow a syllabus, then you can think about a UGC syllabus. You can follow that, which is a very good. Then previous year question paper, there is no question paper. They won't provide us with the question paper, so we don't have any idea about what kind of questions papers are there. And then it keep changing. I mean, it's sometimes it is really tough, sometimes it's very simple, it's very easy. So we can't assume that this kind of questions will come. Okay, if you ask me about books, I can tell you the books which I followed, but then there is nothing like you have to follow this. Any books which are the basics, which you have already studied, will be enough for the exams. Okay, so I always suggest everyone to follow Morgan and King as a general basic book, which is which I find really helpful, really helpful. And there are some people who have asked for a short-term preparation, 1 month preparation. I will say completely cover the Morgan and King if you don't have enough time, or even if you are in the last month, as you said, this will be the last month. So if you can complete the Morgan and King, that would be good. And one good thing about this book is you have all the details, you have all the information in that, but then it won't go to the details of everything. Second book for the abnormal psychology, I can say there is Barron, which I studied. Then I have referred some of Carson and Butcher. That book is good. And then there is Ronald Comer. I find all three books very helpful. But if you don't have time, if you can't study much now, always stick to Neeraj Ahooja, which is available in Indian market. It's a very small, simple book. You can just follow that. That is also helpful. Okay. Then for personality, I have followed Hall and Lindsay. It's a very good book. Then there is Ellis Abrams. Both are really good books. Okay. Then for testing, I would suggest Anne Anastasi, mostly Anne Anastasi. And then there is A.K. Singh. A.K. Singh is a little bit complicated, but then you don't have to go to the everything in detail. You just have to know what is there in that. Then there is for research methodology also, there is Kothari, which is my favorite, which covers almost every topic. Then Robert Gregory also, I find it really helpful. Then for counseling and psychotherapy, counseling I was for my MSc I have studied Patterson, which I find it really helpful. Then for psychotherapy, there is Prochaska, or any of the abnormal psychology will have a chapter on this psychotherapy is used with patients. Okay, somebody has raised hands.
Yes, Deepthi, they wanted to know in detail about the names of these books that you just read now.
Yeah.
If you could share it, like type it on the chat box or something, would be very
Yeah.
helpful.
Yeah, can I send you
Or you
in
can
the
share it
end?
with me. I can share it with them.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
yes,
yeah.
sure.
Okay. So then there is for biological psychology or neuropsychology, there are books by Calet, Simmer, then there is Cope. All these books are really good. And even for social psychology, I just followed Barron. So when you are going through these books, one thing to keep in mind, you don't have to go in detail. Just have to know the basics of that. You don't have to. So if you're studying a personality theory, you just have to know the terms, or who comes first, who comes after that, who criticizes this. You don't have to know every little bit details of each theory. So most of the time people spend a lot of time on each theory, which is not going to help, because the questions are not going to be about the details. It is just about what do you know about it, like just the terms, or if it is about psychotherapy, what are the steps? So it is just going to be like that. Okay, so if you ask me areas to cover, and again it is same, like you can follow the UGC syllabus. The headings from that is really good, so you can just follow that, and you have to know everything, but then you don't have to know everything in detail. Okay, so next question was about how did I prepare, strategies, and time taken. I don't have a specific answer for that because, as I said, I didn't prepare for this exam. But then uh, one of the strategies I think which helped me was I used to do a lot of MCQs, which you will also be familiar with because of you attending the classes. And so always when I'm good, I used to do the MCQs. That is between my MPhil. I mean, even before that, MSc and MPhil, there was a lot of time. So I used to do MCQs. I used to go back and read about it. It's not like I just learned that answer. I will always like to read more about it and think about what else can be a question from that. So that used to help me. Uh, Yeah. After this, I have answered some of your questions here. After that, I can have the chat. Okay. So, that about the MCQs. So I will continue. So I was talking about the MCQs, how it was helpful. Then,
Yes.
even when I was studying, I was mostly using the videos. It can be either somebody taking class. There are a lot of videos in the YouTube. You might have already have this Disha classroom classes. Whatever it is, I used to spend a lot of time on listening to that, kind of like in the background. Sometimes I will be doing something else, but then I used to listen to that kind of classes a lot, which kind of stayed with me after that also. So when I was seeing a question, I used to kind of it feels like an intuition to get that answer. I don't know from where that answer will be coming, but then it will be somewhere in my subconscious that I've heard it, so this might be the answer. So I suggest you that because you uh, all of you are taking online classes, so if you have the classes with you, just play it in the background whenever possible, just like a music. Then uh, another thing which helped me was uh, studying from the PPTs, PowerPoints. There are like a numerous PowerPoints which are available online. If you can download about any topic, you can read on about that. It's not like you have to download a lot of PPTs, but then whatever you are downloading, just try to read it then and there. If you are downloading and keeping, you are not going to read it anytime. So whatever I download, I make it a point that I go through it. At least I flip through it once. Otherwise, it's going to be just a waste of time. Okay, so that's about preparation. And then somebody has asked me about the pattern of question, which is I can just say that it is going to be MCQs and all type of MCQ can be asked, like even it can be true or false. I haven't seen assumption kind of questions, but then true or false is, then there is multiple choice. All that kind of questions can be asked. Also, it is not as tough as UGC most of the time because I attempted last year, once again UGC. So I can say that it is not tough as UGC. It's mostly simple questions, but then the multiple choice will be very confusing. So most of the time I stick to one point. What I do is like, if I feel like this is the right answer, I will just tick it. I don't overthink about that because it will get more and more confused. So some people are anxious about negative marking. They say that don't do that. But then I always make it a point that if I feel like this is the answer, I just tick it. I do that because one more reason is that towards the end, you will definitely get time because it is online and you are going to finish it fast. Towards the end, when there is time, you will have a tendency to go back to the same questions and do it. So then you will get more confused about it. So once you feel like, okay, this is the right answer, better to take it. So this is again my strategy. I don't know if it will work for you, but then I'm telling you. Okay, then there are a lot of questions about Viva. I don't know about Viva, but then most of the Nimhans doesn't have an interview or Viva. Nimhans, after the rank list, they will call you. They will just have a document verification. In the document verification, they will just ask you about maybe something about your thesis and one or two questions about that. What was your sample, or how did you collect your sample? Or maybe like internship. What all things you have seen there? Did you see the assessment? What kind of assessment? That kind of questions. Nimhans usually stick to that. They don't have any kind of interviews. So, and they will ask if you want a seat, if you are ready to join. That's for after getting this question, I asked with some of my other friends and from other institutes. They say some colleges has, like SRMC has, KMC Manipal has. So few of this college has, but everywhere. So SRMC is like a group discussion, and then there is interview. Uh, but everywhere, what they kind of measure is most about not about your knowledge. It's more about your presentation skills or how confident you are presenting the facts. So if you can't do that, if you can present whatever you know very well, that's enough. Okay. Then somebody has asked about whether research paper matters, whether experience matters. No. For MPhil doesn't matter. For PhD, research papers matters. There is a weightage for that. Then some people have asked for a fee structure. In Nimhans, there is no fee. Few of the college like Nimhans has a stipend, which is almost to 30,000, 28,000, 30,000 per month. Other colleges have fees, but then you will have to check Google for that. All of the hospitals will have this kind of information. Then somebody has asked about the PhD. So, but I'm not sure whether.
Enhance the pizza.
Sorry.
I know.
So somebody has asked about the PhD. For that, I don't know if you have meant to do a PhD in clinical psychology. If it is clinical psychology, I think it's better to do after MPhil because clinical topics are mostly taken after the any kind of MPhil. It can be either in any other course like learning disability or anything. But then, if you have the practical experience, it will be always helpful to do that PhD. But otherwise, if you want to do a psychology PhD, you can either apply for exams in external funding, like UGC, ICMR is an option, or even the state is providing a few of the funding now, like women, child empowerment, and all those areas that actually offering some bit of funding for the research. So you can get that kind of an external funding before you start your PhD. Then, some people have asked about the what after MPhil, what will be the future job prospects and all. Uh, I will say once you do the MPhil, the qualification is there. You can either work in a hospital, you can start working independently. You can be either a clinical psychologist, you can be a neuropsychologist. Uh, so for anything you can do, and you can do assessments, diagnostic assessments, IQ assessments, and there are government vacancies. So after doing the MPhil, you can do all these things. So you don't have to worry about a job then. Okay. So anything else which I have to cover? Some people have asked about MPhil syllabus. I'm not sure why, but then MPhil syllabus is like pretty long. If you want, I can email you. If you can send me the email.
Deepti, we have few questions on the chat. If we can go through,
Okay.
I'll get you the questions.
Yeah.
So they are, somebody has asked if they've completed a master's under IGNOU University, how can they apply for MPhil under NIMHANS?
I'm sorry, I don't think that is allowed. This kind of MPhil is always for the regular MSc courses.
Okay, then it is about the MPhil interview. So as you, I think you have already addressed that question regarding the interview. So there is another question, ma'am. After clearing the entrance, do we have to also deposit some security amount, which is later refundable while applying for admissions at NIMHANS?
Yes, that is true. But then that is a very small amount, which I remember maybe like a 20,000, which is later refundable. Once you finish the course, they will be refunded that. But then from the first month onwards, you are going to get a stipend of 28,000.
Ma'am, from where did you get the MCQs that you have done? Is there any reference for site, websites, or anywhere that we can get the MCQ questions?
So this, I think these days there are a lot of sites which provide MCQs. When I was preparing, I mostly depend on UPSC questions. Okay, so I had a few sites which are actually for the UPSC aspirants, but then have gone to their psychology question papers and have done the MCQs mostly.
Ma'am, please say the approximate fee structure for MPhil clinical psychology.
Are you asking about NIMHANS? NIMHANS doesn't have a
I
fees.
think, yeah. So I think they are generally asking in general about the MPhil entrances or the institutions. So can I answer to that questions if you?
Yeah.
Yeah, so as Deepthi just said, institutes like CIP and NIMHANS provide stipend per month, when you're into the MPhil program. Whereas other institutes like NIPMED, where I'm a scholar, we do have a fee structure. So the fee structure is very dependent on the institutes. So if you go for Manipal, JSS, NIPMED, an institute like that, the fee structure is very dependent on the management or the institution. So when you're checking through the application system, so when you go through the prospectus, please make sure about that. Deepti, the next question is, what is the difference between an MPhil and PhD?
Okay, so MPhil is more about the clinical work, about how to manage the patients, how to work with patients, how to. So, as I said, we will be having different units where we will be posted in different departments like child, or there will be a posting in adult, then there will be child, then there is the behavior therapy unit. So, it will be like each unit posting, and we will be getting training in that specifically. But PhD is more about the research, which we have to do. So we will be preparing a proposal, we will be submitting that to the institute, we will be doing that kind of a data collection, whatever plan we have, we will follow that. So it is more about one is a training, one is a research.
If we clear NET or JRF, then can we apply for PhD when we have a master's degree from IGNOU?
I don't think you can do that in NIMHANS, but then there are other institutes or other universities which takes students from distance education also.
Then the concern is about the current COVID situation and traveling to Bangalore. So this time they have examination center only in Bangalore. So some of them have come up with that concern also.
Yeah.
So I don't think maybe any of us will be able to give an answer for that, because we are yet to see what is going to happen.
Yeah, but then it is not feasible for them to have centers everywhere, especially because now their MD exams are all going to be taken by the government. So it's just for the MPhil and other courses they are going to have the exams. So they are not planning to have centers everywhere. It will be just in Bangalore. And all these dates are like just tentative. All the websites is saying that. So you will have to keep checking for the dates. So once you are better situation, then only these exams will happen, I think.
The next question is, will a student get stipend only with NET in NIMHANS?
No, if you are joining for the MPhil, you will get a stipend. It's not about net.
How do the credit points work? Like if we present papers or we have experience in the field, how does that add as a credit during the admission procedure?
I don't think that matters. I'm not very sure about other institutes. If Vinita knows, you can answer that. But then in IMHANS, yeah, in IMHANS doesn't matter. I mean, even if you have work experience or research purpose, it doesn't count as such. But for PhD, definitely, PhD it matters because you will be able to choose a guide of your preference if you have that kind of background. If you have already done some kind of research, then you will be given more preference with some guide or some area of research. So in that way, it matters.
How do we prepare for the Viva Voice for MPhil? Is the question again.
Okay, so as I said, NIMHANS doesn't have a Viva. So for other institutes,
Yes.
what matters is more about your confidence. Whatever you are going to say, you just have to be confident. You say whatever you feel like, whatever you feel right, and it doesn't matter.
Does UG specialization matters? Suppose the candidate has done UG in commerce and masters in clinical psychology, can they apply for MPhil?
Yes, they can.
Should we also cover topics under MPhil syllabus for entrance? I'm not sure about this.
If it is about MPhil entrance, no, you don't have to. It will be just basic questions.
Do you think the course name MPhil for clinical psychology under RCA is going to change the name anytime soon?
RCA is not going to change the name, but then Allied Healthcare Bill has come up with the registration for the psychologist also. But then RCA will stick to that.
When is the NIMHANS entrance? I think it is due for the date of May between 12th and 16th. That to a tentative date is available. Is PsyD a good option?
Yes, PsyD is a very good option, but then uh, training here, you have to check for the syllabus if you would like to go for that. It is a very good option. But then if it is abroad, it is like really a good option.
Do
In
we have
India,
institutions in India that offer PsyD?
Swigart.
Swika. Can you share more about ICMR JRF, about the preparation books for reference, preparation about ICMR JRF?
ICMR JRF have a science part, which will be mostly about whatever you have learned from 8th to 12th, maybe. So you have to prepare that kind of, which is like not very usual for us, like a geography and that kind of economics, that kind of topics you will have to prepare. Little bit, not like you have to know a lot of it, but then you will have to have that basics, just like the questions about this layers of atmosphere and all. So it will be just basics, but then they can ask the questions from that. So there is a paper like that, and also psychology will be a 20-mark questions will be there. So it's like social sciences and life sciences. In the social sciences, you will have anthropology, geography, economic. I mean something like psychology and humanities and all those topics. So you have to prepare from 20 questions from each of that. So basics of each of that.
Submission of certifications at the time of admission, since there are few students who are MSc final year students. So what are the considerations that they can avail, or how does the admission procedure happen if they're not able to complete their course by then or avail the certificates by then?
Uh, why they are not able to complete the course is matters. If it is about the current situation, maybe they will have give some kind of consideration about that. But then you will have to check that about that in the academics demands. They are like really responsive, so if you call them, you will be able to get that information very easily.
How to prepare for NET exam while we are in our final year MA? How to manage both simultaneously?
It's actually really easy. Once you are preparing for your final year exams, it is just the same. It's not nothing extra you have to do. So it is just like me passing that exam for the MPhil entrance. I have just prepared for my MSc exams and I went for MPhil and I got it.
Do you have any idea about the cutoff marks or the, that's a question that have come up?
Okay, cutoffs keep changing because it's just like who scores the highest. So it depends on that. If one person get the highest score and 15 people after that, it is usually like that.
Okay. Dissertation is necessary to join MPhil or internship experience is enough?
Actually, that both that isn't necessary. Just have to, if you have an MSc certificate, that is enough. Just if you have experience, it's good. That's all.
Does language become a barrier while working, doing clinical psychology in Enhance?
Yes, that is true. I mean, first 3 months you will be like struggling. You will get patients who speaks Kannada, and you will have to manage with that. You won't give any excuse. So what we used to do is like write down every questions, follow-up questions, or whatever question we have to ask, and learn it. We write it down in English or Malayalam or whichever language is comfortable, and then we'll ask them. But once they start speaking in detail, we won't be having any idea. But then always our unit, which is like the team, will be like always more kinder than our department. So they will if we say that this patient was speaking Kannada and I was not able to understand, there is a language barrier. So always we make it a point to write down that there is a language barrier in the file, and then when we go with that, they always used to be more accepting to that.
Ma'am, I'm doing MSc sports psychology. Can I apply for MPhil clinical psychology?
MSc Sports Psychology, I'm not sure. In the list, there is MSc Applied and all other psychologies, I think, but then Sports Psychology, I'm not very sure.
We have a lot of questions. I hope I've covered most of them or answered most of your queries. Is there anything importantly that you would like to get addressed? Could you please type it again and send it again? Yeah. Is it better to do an MPhil right after MSc as compared to like after a work experience, or is it better to do right after MSc?
Um, it depends on person. No? I'm not very sure how to answer that because there are people who wants to take a break and do work sometime or have a family. So it depends on that. If you are comfortable continuing your studies, you can do that. If you're not able to, then take a break and then go back to it.
Do we have any scholarships other than NET and JRF while doing our MPhil?
Doing MPhil? No, we don't have.
Thank you, Deepthi. Ma'am, does NIMHANS conduct MPhil entrances in 2 sessions or it is just 1 session?
Entrance is just one session, just one exam, and then after that you will be called for an interview. I mean, it will be more like a document verification, which will be in 2-3 days time, mostly.
So there is a question that is keep repeating. The last date for an NIMHANS application was set to be 24th, but now the system or they're not able to fill in their application. So how do they go about it? Where do they approach?
They can call in the Nimhans Academics. The numbers are available in the website, and they can tell them. So they will make arrangements for that.
I think a lot of them have put the same question regarding application is not possible at the time. It was said 24th. I think, like Deepthi said, it would be advisable that you contact the NIMHANS administration and get your queries cleared. How deep will the dissertation work during studying MPhil?
It is quite deep, quite deep. It is because you need to have a research experience also with MPhil. So you will have to prepare the proposal. You will have to present that in the department. It will be a detailed process, but then yeah, it is quite deep.
Is there any course in India providing specialization in child psychiatry?
There are courses in NIMHANS which provide child psychiatry uh, as specific as child psychiatry. So if you can check the website, you will have an idea.
Yeah, can we say that studying in institutions where the language barrier is reduced will be better while practicing MPhil?
Not actually. I mean, it will be a case of like a few days where it will be difficult. After that, you will learn the language. And it was not just if you're going to Bangalore and you will get only Kannada patients. There will be Malayali patients, there will be Hindi patients. So wherever you go, there will be patients from different languages. So it is just going to be, you will learn it. That's all we can say. And it is good to have that kind of experience with different kind of culture and different kind of languages.
What are the other certification courses that NIMHANS provide within the institutions?
Okay, so why don't you check that in the website? It is available there. There are, if you look for the child, family, and all, there are courses available, which is in detail given there.
Does qualifying net in somehow get you a privilege while during the MPhil entrance?
Uh, Privilege, I'm not very sure. They usually take the students who are coming first in the rank list. There is no preference or whatsoever. But then I think net, if you have a net UGC net, you can use that for the stipend also. Instead of using that for the PhD, or you can start with MPhil, and if you want to join for PhD after that, you can continue with the same stipend, and they will be ready to extend that stipend for the whatever years of study you are doing.
Some of them have come up with its concern of RCA registration. Is an enhanced RCA registered, or if not, what will be the procedure once they come out of the institute?
NIMHANS is RCA registered, and there are few other institutes which are RCA registered. You can get a list online, and if you go to the RCA website, there are lists available. If you ask CIP, Ranchi, then IMHANS, few other institutes are there. So if you can check online, it will be good.
After passing JRF, can we directly apply for MPhil, or do we have to get an entrance exam?
After,
JRF, can we directly apply for the MPhil, or do we still have to go through the entrance examination?
you will have to go through the entrance exam. Even if you have a JRF, you will have to go through the MPhil entrance exam. But if you have to do a PhD after MPhil, if you have a JRF, then you don't have to write the exam, or you can write the exam and just pass it.
Okay. Is there a particular number of cases that we need to cover and assessments that we need to learn for RCA registration, or is it institution based?
Yes, it's institution based. If you have passed out from NIMHANS or if you're passed out from CIP Ranchi, you will get the registration. It's not like you have to see specific number of cases.
Which one has more job scope in India, industrial psychologist or a clinical psychologist?
Both has. I can't say which is better. Industrial psychologists also definitely have a lot of options. No.
I think there are a lot of questions still coming on. I think I think almost we have tried addressing a lot of the questions and major concerns. Uh, but if there are still concerns and queries that you feel is not addressed, we have a group that said chat with an enhanced scholar, a group that has been created. Please put your concerns and queries on that. We'll get it addressed as we go on. Uh, Thank you, Deepti. Thank you for this wonderful session. Thank you for having spent your time with us, having cleared a lot of our concerns and a lot of our doubt. I'm sure it would have been a very good and interactive session that all the members or the participants would have enjoyed. Thank you, Deep. I would like to thank all the participants for joining and having their concerns and making this a very interactive session. Also, Deepthi, for having taken your a lot of time and having come here and giving your valuable time sharing your experience. Thank you all. We'll meet you. Will the further details that you were asking will be shared on the group, the WhatsApp group. Thank you for the time. All the best, all the MPhil aspirants. Wish you good luck. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for having me.